So I made a tweet I hope many of you will check out as we get into this first match of this best of 5. But a lot of you might not be aware, there's actually a trophy for the TING Open as well. There's all this cool stuff, there's prize money, there's all this awesome extra content, but there's actually straight up a trophy, and there's a picture of it in my tweet that I made. Now, I know it looks a little bit funny and wonky because the angle on it is so strange, but it's not actually photoshopped, like, at all. That's the trophy, and they found some drink called Ting, and they stuck it in it. It's kind of funny, kind of cool. So, that was, if you were looking closely, you could see the trophy on Jesse's desk while they were playing.
So, can you drink it? Do you win?
Oh my god, pour it into the trophy, drink out of it like an asshole.
Yeah.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1. Spawning here on the top left side of Prion Terraces, we've got the blue Terran. He is going to be coming from Korea. It's reality.
In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, he's Liquid MaNa.
Alright, so really quick points to bring up before we even talk about builds in the game. First and foremost, it is starting off on the East Coast. We're swapping East Coast, Central, back and forth due to the coin flip. Secondly, this is the money talk again. Without Ting, we wouldn't have this prize pool, so $5,000 coming straight from them. And they're treating the casters right, guys. Zomgrab and I have almost never been paid for casting when it comes to casting StarCraft 2. It's always been, we cross our fingers and hope for the best ad revenue possible, or donations and generosity from the viewers. Ting is actually paying us. Now, I can't tell you how much. It's not something super phenomenal, but we're getting paid, which is awesome. We never get paid for our work. It's like that level of recognition that is super sweet. So super stoked and really happy to have them on board. Plus the $5,000 they're putting into the prize pool for this tournament. These guys have been super generous the whole time we've been working with them. Oh, MaNa's going to go for pylons.
Ew, it's tricky. Or just really wants to kill the SCV. Like, he's got to go for pylons, but, I mean,
follow up by Magic.
So.
And he's not starting it either. Okay, anyways, to finish up, the 2 pros for annoying harassment, I guess. To finish up my point really quick there, guys, the $5,000 for the tournament is awesome, but of course, every player who's playing today has earned $100 bare minimum. Nobody at this point walks away from the tournament without cash in hand. But these best of 5s are essentially worth $300, because the person who wins this best of 5, they qualify for at least $400. The loser walks away with $100. So again, each of these best of 5s is essentially a $300 match.
Yeah, and it's going to continue getting higher and higher stakes as this weekend rolls on by. It was really awesomely set up. Coincidentally set up, I suppose. There's, of course, a lot of shifting of the dates because this has been a 2-month tournament just about.
Yep.
But to have this kind of snowball effect going, and it gets more and more hype as they get closer to the end, closer to the Monday of the grand finals.
Right, and let's not forget, well, today is a best of 5. Tomorrow is going to be 2 best of 7s, and that Monday finals is going to be a best of 9. So all the players who've been avoiding detox up to this point might be regretting that, as it could cost them a map.
Oh god, I just know they're going to keep it to the very last map, and then it's going to go to the ace match, and we're going to be like, told ya.
Some might, but some might not. Like, let's assume for a moment Snoot wins over Ryung. I guarantee you Snoot's going to throw that in the map pool before last.
He'd have to win against Ryung, and then I'm going to guess Reality, but MaNa could also win against Reality.
Right, so again, there's a couple of interesting points here where MaNa's PVTs actually looked rather abusive recently. Let's not forget, he did get out of his group. He's the only Protoss to make it this far in the tournament. And he's been doing a lot of really gross things, like whether it's DTs, whether it's the pylon proxies that we thought were going to happen this game. This has been fantastic.
Yeah. I think we missed a couple of resubs and new subs towards the end of the last series, and we went straight into the commercial. So Shardaker, thank you for resubbing 14 months. That just happened. But then I don't remember if we shouted out Vagrant Story, who is a new sub, but definitely a familiar name.
Oh yeah, we got caught up with the video, everything there. So, hype. We'll get caught up with anyone we missed after. Open up Twitch alerts, but
yeah, okay, yeah.
But this game already getting a little bit interesting with Reality having so many Marines out early in that very awkward-looking engineering bay. I'm worried that this might be an early push, and if it is, MaNa, who's going for Blink, is not going to have a lot of units on the field. Like right now, the supplies stay fairly consistent, but it's every time we cast this matchup, it's like whoop! All of a sudden, someone's up 30, and the Protoss has nothing to play with.
Yeah, well, Protoss is having a tough time.
Ooh, I just noticed how late this Mothership core is too. Not a bad thing. By stalling this out, he gets the Robo down sooner, so production picks up, Blink goes down faster, and all that. But this also means he's not going to be relying on the Mothership core because she's probably going to have like 1 or 2 overcharges.
He did scout with 2 probes, Rifkin. He knew he wasn't in danger.
I know. I'm not saying that like this is a bad thing, but it's just interesting to see this come out so late.
I do wonder what the two probe thing was. We didn't see why or like at what order they came out. Or just looking around the map. It might have just tried to actually fake out reality, make him pull 7 SCVs for 2 probes, thinking that it would have been the rush, but reality didn't fall for it. So looked a little funny. This SimCity also looks a little funny. Like, I don't know what reality is doing with all of his buildings in the natural, if that actually helps him versus like Adepts, say, or what. I think it would like hurt him more than help him, but more important is this push. Guardian Shield goes down immediately.
There's nowhere to fall back to here. There's no pylon down. The army's going to try and blink away, but it can't take on Bio like this. Mothership Core is nowhere in sight. This is a terribly dangerous push. MaNa's just not ready for.
Well, that would be a very disappointing game 1 if he loses right here. I mean, the Mothership Core is around, but there's only 1 pylon.
I guess there's not that many Marines, actually, so the overcharge isn't too bad. That is the overcharge. Or, excuse me, there's one more. The Immortal should be able to hold on to this. MaNa took some pretty heavy losses. And the problem for this isn't the economy. Like, okay, a couple probes went down, but his probe count in general is not bad thanks to that early gold. But it's the fact that he doesn't have a lot of army units. And this happens to every Protoss player. Now, I actually really hope, with my fingers crossed, we're going to see MaNa do something a little bit different. Like, say, go this Colossus that we've seen him pull out once or twice. Go something like Disruptors and test reality's latency on the East Coast server. But if he's just going to go pure Immortal and Gateway units, I actually think he's going to have a bad time. Yeah,
maybe. Probably, as he is down about half that army supply. I think he really wanted to have that attack happen when +1 and Resonating Glaives was done, because it just finished up here, but this next attack's going to be even stronger, and MaNa just pre-pulls the probes, anticipating them going down. He finally was starting to get a decent economy. Reality's actually been winning in the income advantage for quite some time. And now, of course, he has that 3rd base. So sacrificing the gold to make sure you have the game to still play out, but losing the gold is basically losing the game.
Yeah. Especially with his army being as down as it is.
Yeah, there's no, like, oh, I killed your Nexus and I poked the bear, like, oh, I gotta watch out. It's like, MaNa does not have a scary army. And in fact, he doesn't have an observer? Kinda does.
Going all the way back to that 2 probe opening, right? Nice snipe on the medevac. That may have been some indecision, right? Like, he was going to go for the pylons, he was hoping to focus down the SCV or something, but when he got there, it was awkward because he's like, oh, I can't actually do this. And as strange as that might be, that's enough to definitely affect somebody's mentality for the next step of the game. And I'm not saying that's cause and effect for like why MaNa's in a bit of an odd spot. We can see that very clearly with economy and the production ratio. But it is something where I wonder, like, oh gosh, I really hope that didn't, like not tilt him, but like I hope it didn't affect him going forward in the game.
When you start off with a bad start, it's going to affect you somehow, but who knows? Reality does not need his Liberators to win this game. He could just stim and win, because the thing is, it really is about numbers right now. There's no splash damage for MaNa. Even if he had the perfect micro, and like his Immortals are taking down the Marauders specifically, the Blink Stalkers are being blinked to the fullest capability, and Guardian Shield was helping out, it still wouldn't really make up for like 40 army supply. They'd still trade out better for Reality, who is going on to his 4th base now. Like, that's a new 4th base. Playing plans on location. His upgrade's about to finish too, so he'll have an upgrade lead. Marauder's slow, I guess you could wait for that, but also waiting for his Liberators potentially. Scans for an observer that isn't there, but doesn't want to bother trying to, like, zoom in and out, like you see people do on streams.
Alright, gonna catch these medevacs. Oh, this is so nice for MaNa! And of course, he can't really blink forward. If he did, it was going to be a little bit risky because he did blink over, but still nicely done. And deflects the drop at the bare minimum, dodges the Widowmine hit. Now this is the MaNa I was hoping to see. Problem is, still a disgustingly difficult fight to take here in the middle of the map. Blinks off to the side, got to focus down those Liberators. Immortals and those Force Fields are actually doing work. The Liberators go down, and MaNa's army is not that much smaller than Reality's anymore. In fact, it's looking better.
And the medevacs, 3 medevacs that dropped off units actually weren't healing that much. Yeah. Liberators eventually get sniped down. Nothing but Marauders left over. They do end up killing all the Immortals.
But MaNa does push this back. And this was something where before he was down a pretty significant army number at one point, starts bringing forward. His upgrades aren't keeping up, though, which is a little bit scary. So he's on a bit of a clock. He can do damage right now. He certainly can. But there's no Warp Prism on the front lines. There's no 2-2 started up behind this. So this is a little bit dangerous. MaNa, if he loses his whole army on this side of the map, that's going to be game for him.
He's got to wait for more medevacs. He doesn't actually have any.
Oh, actually, whoa. Out. If there's no medevacs, Blink is going to be the kingmaker in these engagements.
Yeah? This is a real opportunity for MaNa to win this game after being down 40 army supply for most of it.
I think he knows it too. He's getting a little bit greedy. He wants to get in there. He wants to just blink for and take it that Liberator. But if he does, he'll lose his Stalkers to the Marauders. Pushes off the 4th base of Reality. Adepts do deny mining over here on the left side too. He is taking great command of position, and I love seeing what MaNa's done with this game so far.
Yeah, it looks really, really scary. You go down in the first game to that first push, and the next games just can't feel very good. But even if he still ends up losing this, I have much better faith in him for the next 2, 3, 4 games, whatever you want to say.
I mean, Reality's in a lot of trouble right now.
He is.
The funny thing is, his gold's going to be mining out hardcore. So MaNa's 3rd, okay, it's going to be dropped here in a moment, but MaNa's 3rd is far more important than any other base on the map right now because both of them are going to be mining out their naturals. Now, a couple of probes are going to die. This sucks. Try splitting. Panic does good splits.
Yeah, not
Only
bad.
small amount of probes die.
And now, with all of the bases having to be lifted and no more mining for Reality, although his SCV comes actually still not bad. Once he's able to land those command centers, he'll be okay. MaNa has taken a bit of a lead in that income.
You know what? If MaNa's paying attention and he lands these force fields as the bio tries to push out, that 2-2 won't matter so much. Blinks forward to pick off the Liberator, backs away, nicely done. Forceful's going to go down on the ramp, try and choke out these units as predicted. Makes this a very difficult fight for Reality to take, and the longer Reality has to sit back here, the less minerals he has for medevacs. He can't build medevacs and Liberators right now. Oh my god, Zombie Rope.
He can't build much of anything.
No, he can't.
MaNa might have this game. He's up 30 army supply, but he cannot break Reality. Reality also has those upgrades that are helping out. His command center is going to try and get kind of a secret base. He does have his Onaga off to the right, so I think he should attempt this, seeing that nothing's there, or well, that he saw anyways.
A little bit scary with the depths there. It's like, don't go in, man. MaNa is going to start falling back. This is a problem, though, because the Stim Bio can start catching his units. I think realizing this, he gets a little bit tentative to take the fight on the front line. He can certainly take this fight, but he is worried about those drops. So he wants to try and get home. It's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back to get there safely. And unfortunately, Reality... Oh, actually, I take this back. He is going to have a base mining. Sneaks this off to the right side. Nicely done with the command center float. Loses units in the middle of the map, and MaNa, he's got 2 overcharges. Overcharge is pretty good, Zombie Grub.
Yeah, it is. But he just dodges around the second one. I thought he was going to maybe just type the Nexus. Now he's going to type the Nexus, and MaNa's going to take the opportunity to try and just counter. But he's going to find another ramp, and still the upgrades.
I think he could take this fight if he wanted to. He can blink in on top of the Marauders. There's no Liberators. Just bullies his way in. Reality having units on the other side of the map. There's no army at home for Reality to fight with. Marauders are good, and they absolutely destroy Stalkers, but they don't deal with the Depths and Immortals so well. Meanwhile, base trade style is going on. Get some Zealot warped in. They don't have charge. Ooh.
No, they don't. Okay, so that was a little bit questionable. They are being kind of really well against the Marauders slow, but the entire army, like that army just melted to MaNa's army. The Marauders are not doing a great job taking on the Adepts. I mean, they kind of still aren't, even just
the overcharge.
Adepts.
The overcharge getting executed. The medevacs are low. Reality's going to lose this first game.
What happened? Like, I was in such a great position. He was in such a great position. But MaNa took the opportunity of having a good fight to counter to lift 2 command centers.
You know what I love about this? This was so great for MaNa for a lot of different reasons, but the one thing I want to really bring up is he didn't like hashtag Protoss his opponent, right? I said with air quotes. Because a lot of times we see MaNa win. It's the things like DTs and stuff that you see put Terran players on tilt. This was great decision making, a fantastic engagement. And if he didn't have those force fields, he never would have taken the fight he did versus Reality in the first place. I am impressed on so many different levels. Reality's out of units on the other side of the map. He's going to lose medevacs trying to go back home. He can't even afford to replace these. This first game is going to go to MaNa.
It is. It definitely is. Reality just cannot fathom, though. Like, he had 4 bases. He had an entire army. Like, he does not want to give up.
He was going to go liberate range. GG! Team Liquid's MaNa is going to take the first game in the series. Now,
I feel like he almost baited Reality into being like, "Oh, I'm just a poor foreigner. Look at me use my units. Oh no, Simon!
I'm such a poor foreigner." Okay, so what's really interesting about this? We'll get to game 2 here ASAP, guys. What I find really interesting about this, though, is we've had some debate, especially with, again, the funnel cake thing, about how bad lag for Europe to latency regarding central server is. Penguin being very vocal on Reddit, stating that the difference of east to central for him, personally, is like a difference of like 15 ms. I don't know if that's going to be the sake for MaNa. So if MaNa doesn't really care about playing on the central server, this won't be such a bad thing for him. But for Reality, this is going to be a better game for him. Again, East Coast is the furthest possible way he can go without being on Europe. This is looking great. Alright, well, both players, I don't think expected that game to go the way it did, apparently. In the top right side of Dusk Towers, he's currently leading this series 1-0. And just reminding everybody, we're on the central server now. It's going to be the blue Protoss player, Team Liquid's MaNa.
In the bottom left, as the red Terran, he is Reality.
So I just want to say this really quick, because unfortunately, with recent events, the way I phrase this is almost going to sound spiteful. But if you guys could just please humor me for a moment, pretend like this is just a statement in and of itself. I just want to point out the best players in StarCraft 2 have never complained about server latency, and they've been taking challenges everywhere and anywhere. You look at Snoot, you look at MaNa, the boys from Team Liquid are great examples of people who will play off server and do their best even if they are worried about latency or being at a disadvantage. And MaNa, for this reason, I really loved seeing him come out and play in this tournament. I think a lot of people knew that this was going to be a cross-server event with global qualifiers. And at some point, I think all of them kind of resolved to say, like, look, I'm going to have to play off-server at some point. I'm just going to have to deal with it. And what I found most impressive was MaNa didn't deal with it by being cheesy. He didn't go for Proxy Dark Shrines or Stargate. Like, that first game, sick macro from both players.
Yeah. I mean, Reality... He's in such a good position. I think he would have made the same type of throw, so you want to call it, against a Korean. But there might have been some, like, you know, not just I'm going against a foreigner, but the first fight looked like he was about to win this game. Like, with that fight, you're just thinking, like, oh, okay, like, that's how I'm going to win this series? Yeah, there's going to be no problem. So he was probably already set up. When the force fields went down, and he realized, like, oh, those are pretty good force fields. Oh, my drop on top of the armor didn't really do anything. Like, I just see it crumble, like his vision of the series just crumble in front of him.
I really wish we spoke better Korean to actually ask Reality on what his thoughts were on that last game, too. Like, MaNa taking the time to whisper me his thoughts on that was kind of funny, but I would have loved to ask Reality, like, so, you know, you almost won the game with 8 units 3 minutes in. How do you feel about that loss, you know? Like,
yeah. I have to learn the Korean word for throw? Question mark?
Just learn the Korean word for baseball.
I don't know, like, it's probably something like... Wait, the command center's off. I guess the probe is there. But I wonder if it's actually the word throw, like they use the same word for a situation like that, or if they have their whole word for that. You know, like Germans have words for every single feeling ever created.
Yeah, they've got words for things we don't have in English, that's right.
Yeah. Like the pleasure of seeing someone else in pain, or...
Whoa! Why is that your first go-to? Holy shit!
Because it's the one that everyone always brings up. Like,
I think we just learned something about Zombie Group, guys.
Oh, right? Yeah. We were playing Mario Party on the N64 with my friends. I made a couple of tweets.
Oh, like, how's the palm of your hand?
What?
Play Mario Party on the N64 with a dumb control stick. Okay. You gotta, like, spin it around.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're going with that now. No, we actually never had a game that did, like, the, we had, like, a button mashing games, but we never had, like, the joystick revolve game. So anyways, like, I have a picture of my friend, like, face down after she got denied 2 stars, but, David was not playing. He was just laughing at us and enjoying our pain as we would lose coins and stars.
Oh, so he was that German word. Got it.
Exactly.
Thank you, Keezer SC2, for the new sub. Hype!
Woo!
I can't believe our sub count still grows. Let's stroke it really quick, guys. What are we at? What do you think we're going to be at here, Zombie Room, as I check really quick?
12:19.
Wow, you are scary close. 12:20.
What's up?
That's 10 since yesterday. That's amazing. That's
shit.
Blow my mind. Amazing. I hope you guys who are subscribed to the channel are enjoying it. By the way, if you have anything like we want to try and do right by your subs. We know we did that sub celebration day recently. I hope to do more of that. Replay packs are coming. We've been saving these up since the round of 32. We got tons of awesome replays to share with you guys from this tournament, and of course, those will be handed out on Monday after the finals. But okay, so Reality took a 3rd CC, and MaNa playing a little bit slow and safe. Once again, very interested to see MaNa more than Reality, because I think a lot of us come into this series assuming Reality is going to raffle some. Reality destroyed Protoss, but I want to remind you all who forgot, by the way, Korean Protoss, SOS patience didn't matter. Nobody could touch Reality. He had these really awesome one-base builds. He went for fast magfield accelerators, and I'm curious to see why, like, I'm really wondering why we haven't seen it yet, and if he's going to save a one-base build for, like, his 3rd game, if he's down 2-0 type thing. Because Reality was crushing Protoss all over the place last time we saw him.
Yeah, he might be saving it. It's correct. Selec, actually, I really loved his definition of the last game, where it was ace lewd, and then it was ace ban. That was MaNa in a nutshell.
No, it's just like, oh no, don't put it there. Ah!
Yeah. Yeah, that started off kind of weird. But MaNa, the game is really starting to heat up as MaNa is attacking with a couple of Blink Stalkers. So this is an all-in. MaNa's getting a third base behind this. But Reality is
he blinks
not
in.
anticipating this.
Ooh, I don't know about blinking in like that, but that does catch him off guard. The Marauders get focused immediately, and of course Stalkers can outrange Marines, but this is forcing an SCV pull. MaNa also really well known for his Warp Prism micro on top of Blink micro, but he's just going to pull away from this. This forced a lot of pressure, and that looked really scary, but that blink up the high ground, I almost never like blink in for engagements. There's not a situation where you ever see that really look good, you know?
Yeah, it was a very dangerous blink, but it did work out, and it actually probably gave Reality a heart attack to realize how few units he had.
Yeah, I mean, income graph, there we go. Look at this spike. Reality was doing fine on income, mules alike and all that. He pulls so many SCVs, they're not mining, and MaNa gets a huge income lead off this.
Yeah, that was really nice. I mean, it almost looked like he was going to snowball because the production was not yet done. He had 2 more barracks on the way, only 3 barracks were producing, and it looks really scary.
The whole army's been baited to the front of that third, so MaNa gets here to the main, Adepts come in. Now, unfortunately, MaNa doesn't have that +1 yet. It's sad because he's not here to show it, but Naniwa, I really love seeing Naniwa with the Adepts when it came to his TvP, showing us how strong +1 is. Kind of like the Zealot +1 versus Lings, right? The dynamic of the Adepts being able to 2-shot instead of 3-shot SCVs is huge. But that'll be done shortly with Resonating Glaives. His army's, honestly, while roaming, not that impressive. MaNa really does need that next level of tech, and Reality. He's going for a fusion core. So Liberator range on his mind, as that has been one of the most abusive units in this matchup.
Yeah, well, you know, he's able to get the 3 bases, even if it wasn't easily, as we did that Blink Stalker attack. So, with 3 bases, you can't afford double starports and Liberators fairly quickly. I mean, there's really 2 ways to play Terran on 3 base. Of course, there's a bunch of other ways on 2 base and 1 base. But on 3 base, you can either go for, like, you know, like Heart of the Swarm, like mostly about big armies, like last game, and drops, or you can get up to super quick Liberators and try and do a kind of a slow push to the middle of the map and hope to get them pinned back in their own base. Now that's where MaNa's got the scouts, how quickly he's going to Liberators, and probably think about going into Tempest himself.
Yeah, actually, we've seen that. So there's been a couple different responses to this, right? Tempest being one of the most obvious, but we've also seen weirdly strange use out of things like Colossus as well. I'm not sure what way this will work, but by the way, this is how you know we've been with Ting for over a month. Ting Jesse just resubbed. I know it's his new sub, but it's a resub. It's the 2nd month, so big love to Jesse up in that sub. Now, the scan goes in to see what the army looks like. And those Liberators, well, they're on the way. Well, the Liberators aren't here yet. Dodges the Widowmine hits. That's pretty huge. He's got force fields to split the army in half. SCVs get pulled into this once again. 3 Liberators are on the way. 3 Liberators could save him, but not if the entire army dies before that's the case. MaNa can just blink forward, focus down said Liberators. There's no Marauders to keep him back. His army's a little bit caught in the front line. He's got to walk these things back and let the Adepts take those hits, but the Immortal on the front line, shelling away the Marauders. Reality losing so much on the front lines. Medevac's pick up. He's falling back to his main. This exposes what little SCVs there are left because 26 died in this engagement.
Yeah. Reality scans the 3rd base and is like, how does he have so many more units than I do? But he does, man. Like, MaNa's probably won this game. He's definitely won this game. He kills the 3rd CC, he's taking out the Liberators. The Observer is sniped by the Widowmine. He's going to be a little careful about going up that ramp. But Reality, he's going to do the same thing he did last game, not believe that he's losing this quickly and almost easily, too.
Warp Prism's just going to warp in directly on the front line. There's nothing to shoot up. It's all Marauders. So Adepts and Zealots come in. Zealots are so good versus Marauders. Force Field holds them in place. GG!
Oh.
Foreign Hope confirmed? Team Liquid's MaNa
Protoss
takes
hope, man. Like,
MaNa's the only Protoss. He's been the only Protoss for 2 rounds, pretty much, with not having gotten knocked out. Like, this is good for Team Liquid's MaNa.
I would not have been surprised to hear a 3-0 happen in this specific best of 5, but I would not have anticipated it being MaNa.
Right? I actually, we're gonna do a commercial break really quick, guys. I'm gonna run to the bot and check what the bets were. I want to see how heavy this was betted. I do want to say one thing though before we do go to that break. I really, MaNa yesterday had messaged me saying like he's really not feeling like he's in good shape right now. So if nothing else, I hope these first 2 games have been a huge ego boost. But we'll see if Reality can bring it back. We'll be back in 2 minutes, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you with more of the Ting Open when we return. All right, we're back, guys. Thank you for allowing us to take that quick break. Just again, small breathers here and there for me and Snobbergub. I did check the bot while we were on break. You're not going to believe it. 38,000 Partoofs on Reality. 15,000 on MaNa. That's over 2-to-1 odds. If MaNa wins this series, people in chat are getting rich, while other people in chat are going really poor. So yeah, we'll see if the Polish pride himself can keep it up, ladies and gentlemen. In the top left side of Lyrlacrest, we've got the blue Protoss. It's Team Liquid's MaNa, up 2-0.
In the bottom right, as the red Terran, he is Reality.
All right, so this has been a very strange set of games so far, but Lyrlacrest is a great map for a one-base build if Reality is willing to bring it out. Reality does have fantastic, abusive, disgusting-looking one-base builds in his pocket, but they do revolve around getting a factory. So, unfortunately, we're not going to see anything cool like Proxy Barracks or anything like that. But this could be his last life. It's also worth noting, before we even started this series... Oh, before I forget, excuse me, this is the TING Open, guys. Let's not forget about the sponsors of the event. Getting a little excited with the game, right? Make sure to go to bttv.ting.com to check them out. Claim $25 in credit and help support esports in the process. But I was going to mention, Reality was really, while we were waiting for MaNa to log on to do videos, he really wanted to start getting tomorrow's schedule sorted. Like, he was like, let's play it this time. Can I play earlier? Can we play this? And I'm like, dude, you need to win first, then we can talk about when you play. And he's like, oh. And I don't think he was... I really, just for him, I think he assumed this was going to be an easy win versus a foreigner, up 2-0, take the third game, lock it down. But he is on his last life. I really want to stress that. This is one of the best Terran players we've seen consistently in the Alima League, consistently destroying Protoss in these qualifiers for this specific tournament. Like, it's because of Reality, like, 3 of them got knocked down to the losers bracket. Like, it blows me away that it's going like this. It's also worth noting, he's doing that weird wall off that we saw earlier.
I guess this is something that, I don't know. I actually don't know why they do this, but it sometimes does happen, so I'm not too surprised. But we have a one base from Reality, as we were talking about. If he was in that game number 3, whether he was winning or losing, he could have this in his back pocket to just end the game really quickly. Of course, MaNa has his own, tricks in his back pocket. We have, Dark Shrine, like Proxy Stargate, the Proxy Pylons with the Mothership Overcharge. Like, MaNa also has games to fall back on. Well, he is the only one that has games to fall back on. Reality is actually banking a lot on this one base, doing a lot. MaNa, he does... Did he scout it?
Oh
yeah, Probe got there and saw the lack of a natural, so a Stargate is a really good catch-all against a one-base build.
This is actually fantastic. Phoenixes are best, in my opinion, but an Oracle will work too, because it looks like Reality is going to be dropping potentially Hellions or doing a Liberator with Hellions. Either way, point of it being, we learned recently Adepts actually got like almost stealth nerfed against Hellions. When they took away the 1 damage, not only did it make them require an extra hit to kill SCVs and Marines, it takes an extra hit to kill a Hellion. 5 shots instead of 4. So Hellions have been getting away with a stupid amount of damage because of this. Now it is going to be a medevac. And this, the idea is classic. You drop the Marines in the main, you bring the Hellions into the natural, you get kills, and you get ahead early off of this. But MaNa with the... confirmed there with the Adept Shade that it's still no natural base down. He knows full well what's coming, and he said he have a bit of a counterattack potential. That's cool, but he is going to have to defend at home, and he's going to have to defend well, because this is an attack that can and does spiral out of control.
Yeah, I am a little worried, because of course you can know it's a one base, but you're not sure what type of one base. So is it going to be Hellions, which I think is the most popular raid now, so that's usually the one that you can bank on. If it was like a confirmation on Hellions, I think he would have pulled the probes away from the natural and walled off the main, which he does right now. Hey,
if
look
he
at
throws
that.
on the 3rd pylon, he'll be good to go.
Yeah. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky though, because of the medevac. He could have, if he was a little bit more secretive about this, Reality could have tried to secret elevate everything up. But the Oracle actually takes on the units here and does die for it. That was a mistake.
Phoenix is poking away the medevac, hoping to keep coming to the main. This Photon overcharges, so again, MaNa's not in too much trouble. He has set up a proxy gateway on the other side of the map with the idea of warping it offensively. I think hoping that Reality would dedicate so much to this and play greedy back at home. However, he's not finding the opportunity to do this because when MaNa had the means to defend this easily, unfortunately, with a bit of miscontrol on that Oracle, loses a lot of that. Like, if the Oracle had focused on the Hellions, for example, there would have been no healing from the medevac, and that would have cleaned those up really easy. Now, instead, he's still got Hellions to deal with, as we can see, just on 1 extra hit. The Phoenix really want to finish off that medevac.
Yeah, he's gonna... Okay, there you go. There's the micro. And we need to see. And now the Marine's gonna be a lot easier. They do tear it down the last Phoenix, or the Phoenix that was low, which was nice. Reality trying to get the most out of a bad situation because this really is supposed to do more damage. It's supposed to get those lineup of hits on the probes. It gets 3 probes, mostly because MaNa just started kind of getting, a little bit lazy and started rallying his probes again, but it is going to be cleaned up.
This is great. Good.
And Reality did an okay amount of damage.
Right. So for MaNa, okay, no, what's the cooldown on that Widowmine? We gotta be careful here.
Yeah,
almost, it's like a bait?
Does he sees that, right?
Okay, no, as you see, the medevac. Oh, this is why he was transferring from the main. Liberator managed to sneak in.
I was
like,
he doesn't have that many probes. Like, what the?
Yeah, I was worried about that Widowmine. Like, that could have gotten some scary damage done, but now the counterattack persists. There's a tank up, actually. This is going to be pretty hard to deal with. MaNa doesn't have Blink.
He's going to go for it. It's on top of the tank with the Adepts, a little bit late, however, and it just gets picked up anyways, so that was always going to be a little bit questionable. If he had Blink, this would have been absolutely perfect, but he's got to be very, very careful with these units. They are his only units right now as he starts building back at home.
He has still an equivalent mining, but Reality's income looks better thanks to mules presently. And MaNa, he might be able to do something like pick up a tank, for example, the Phoenix, scoop it up, prevent it from getting saved, snipe it off. Zella comes to that front line. That soaks hits better than Adepts do, but that tank still needs to be dealt with.
Okay, he gets the medevac.
He's throwing away a lot of stalkers for this. Not super cost effective, and this isn't getting to the mineral lines. Meanwhile, back at home, he still has this. Oh, this Widowmine's got to go down. 4 kills already. He's probably gonna get 3 more, depending on how this goes.
I don't know. It's very odd how he's trying to micro against it. Like it hasn't locked on anything yet, but he keeps on moving probes like it has.
Like I said, the Phoenix I think chased down another medevac on the side while this went on, by the way. So nicely handled over there.
I think MaNa's aggression on this side of the map, even if he lost most of his army as he did, as long as he didn't lose all of it, was worth it because he was getting the key units. The medevacs and the tanks, if you let that count grow and grow and grow, it's still going to be very difficult to hold on when they actually push. And Rowdy was probably really wanted to push, even if they don't have steam or combat shields. He's getting an Oracle now to finally clean that up.
Stalkers are far too expensive to bleed out like that. Very unfortunate.
Yeah. Stalker shouldn't go down. Oh, it was close though. And now it's stuck, isn't it? Like, I don't think it can get out.
Well, whenever Blink finishes.
The Twilight Council just starting.
Oh, he's sent the Oracle across the map. Oh, come on,
no!
He's running back home, but that's gonna get another hit.
Oh, wow, that was... I didn't realize how long of a distance there was cast Revelation, but I don't think he has enough units to take care of this.
No, I don't think he does either. MaNa has done a lot of cool things this game, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough to hold on. This tank bust... I mean, let's not forget, Rally did open this one base, kind of transferred into that natural a little bit later on, but because of the way he set up his production, MaNa just doesn't have units to deal with this. I like the pickup for the Phoenix. You can do a bit of crowd control. That's great, but... Actually, if the Marines go down, he could kill this thanks to the way Dead Space works, but...
That's true, and the Mothership Core, but his Nexus can't be repaired, so it's going to go down.
Yeah, really unfortunate. Actually, I really like the unsieged tank for this, by the way, what's going on.
MaNa can still try and play this out, of course, and it looks like he will, but I just want to note that after everything is said and done, the Widow Mines, whatever probes went down because he started transferring them, 18 workers in total were killed by Reality. So that number really was just piling on top of each other, including any of the units that lost their lives to that Widow Mine, and it all started to pile up, so even though the one base push didn't actually do a ton of damage, and MaNa should have been able to recover, that Widow Mine really added a lot. And of course, Reality's good defense, too. He did not get broken by MaNa's counter.
Did you say it was piling up?
Pylon up. No, because there's no pylon near the Widow Mine.
Thank you, by the way. We missed this up earlier because there's so much action going on, but too early for me. Reset for 9 months. Congratulations on your baby. Hopefully he or she didn't arrive just fine.
Probably.
Actually, it's probably just a Kappa. No body, just a head.
Ah! Creepy.
I would be so scared.
Yeah, it'd be nightmares, man.
Although, I guess it probably hurt less. You don't have the body to squeeze through, just the head.
Well, the head's the biggest part.
That's true.
So.
Alright, so another Oracle's on the way. A Stasis Trap could actually potentially win MaNa a fight, but the problem is I don't think he's going to get that. +1 weapons is done, so he's... it's going to be hard. I don't... Yeah, it got revealed. That scam was really nice.
Yeah. He had the same idea, though. It was a good idea.
It was.
But now the pylon's going to go down.
If that had cut out any of the Marauders, even just one, like that still would have been great to increase his chances to take an engagement. Stim's not done. MaNa, this was his best time to engage, and he can't. Now his opponent's got a +1 weapons. Sim's going to finish up in a second. Combat Shields isn't too much further away. Like, MaNa actually, weirdly enough, did have tech advantage here, but that's quickly dissipated. This is not enough adepts for this. It's a necessary move, but it's not going to work. Stim Bio does go off. Everything here melts pretty quickly. Tanks to a little bit of friendly fire. That's annoying, but as we see at the end of the day, GG gets called. Reality starts bringing back the series.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes that short break, not just for us, can help the players a little bit. Catch their breath, not really be in that sort of super tilted mindset of like, go, go. Okay, just get the next one out of the way. Come on. Line them up. I'll knock them down.
Next one's going to be Orbital.
All right, thank you.
And then Ruins is the last one.
Ooh, I would love if this went to the ace match. So everyone's asking, is all of the round of 8 being played today? Absolutely. 4 best of 5s in total. The order, of course, is on Team Liquid, but if you're not on Team Liquid, MaNa versus Reality is playing right now. Next up is going to be Ryung versus Snoot, and then to finish off the day, it'll be Masa versus Rogue. So the semifinals will play out tomorrow. The time has not been posted because it is going to determine who gets through. For example, if all Koreans get through today, then we're going to broadcast much earlier to compensate for their time zone. However, if there's Europeans or Masa even gets through, because Masa being the North American player is the biggest factor here, it'll have to play probably closer to this time. So at the end of the broadcast, we'll let you guys know what time tomorrow. But map intros to be had. We'll see you in a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Game number 4 coming up here for the Ting Open, round of 8. Spawning the bottom left side of Orbital Shipyard. He is up 2-1 currently, and we find ourselves back on the central server. It's going to be the Blue Bro DOS, Team Liquid's MaNa.
And it's top right as the Red Terran. He is Reality.
So, quick question for you, because we've never actually discussed this. I actually don't really care much either way, but the whole med tanks versus tankovacs, which are you on? Which fence side is that?
Tankovacs.
Tankovacs? Now, is it just because it's been around longer, or?
Yeah.
I actually just think med tank sounds weird to say. Like, I know we're all on the hype train because Artosis and Tasteless are the ones trying to coin it, right? But I cannot get behind med tanks, personally.
They also try and coin mutt-mutts.
Mutt-mutts. Mutalisks?
Yeah. I forget why. Is it because his daughter called them mutt-mutts, or is like a friendly joke they had since Brood War? I don't remember, but...
Tasteless is just like super high one cast. Can't remember what they're called. So it's like those mutt-mutts things.
Those mutt-mutts. Yeah, of course.
All right, so MaNa gonna be a little bit annoying here with the probe, but it's very important. Like, there's no understating how important it is for him to know whether his opponent's going for a 1-base build or not. Again, I just want to point out that last game could have actually been a 3-0 for MaNa very quickly had he perhaps handled his Oracle and such a little bit better in the early game. He did have a good response to what Reality was bringing his way. But seeing Command Center go down, okay, it's a little off position, but that can be fixed. Your turn. But he sees the Command Center go down, and that's very important early game information to have.
Yeah. I mean, Reality, I guess he brought back his confidence with a 1-base build, but isn't going to rely on a 1-base build. And of course, there's dangers in doing that, where MaNa almost had a perfect defense last game. You figure that if you do another 1-base build, they're actually going to have that perfect defense. And if that happens, then you actually just are way, way behind. But also, I feel like it's going to be something like, I don't have to use 1-base builds to win this series. I should have won the first game anyways, which is a macro game. I'm going to play another macro game. But maybe MaNa has something to say about that. We'll see what happens. As I said, like, Reality has 1-base builds. MaNa has his own cheeses. There's still some Protoss shenanigans he can throw out.
I'm actually... I was expecting him... he's looking for a proxy or something. I was expecting him to walk across the map with the pylons, to be honest. It's Orbital Shipyard, and it's been really common here more than other maps, but just an abusively strong opener in the first place. Now, that being said, Blink's not bad either. We see that start up. It's been, I think, more often than not, we see games determined by the Blink from here to here.
Yeah. Orbital Shipyard, definitely on a bad Blink map. Oh, do you see the news about the new maps?
Yes, I saw that they picked a map from 2 years ago, and I was like, okay... Whatever, maybe it's a good map. Maybe they just went under the radar. I looked at it.
They did?
Yeah,
Which one was that?
The 8-player spawn map, I think, is the one that's the 2-year-old one. But
Really?
the point is, someone posted on Team Liquid how every base can pretty much be abused by siege tanks. And not, like, in fun ways, but in, like, actually stupid ways.
Good day to be Terran.
Yeah. I don't like what they're trying to do with it. Major, I think, also made a tweet, or someone posted, I think Hearthstone quoted him, where it's like, great, and I have to spot 7 locations before I find my Protoss opponent. Like
who's one basing? Yeah, I saw that. But I just, they say that they're going to keep the 3 oldest maps in the map pool, which is just, why?
Yeah,
and Central Protocol.
There's something, I know last night we were talking about possibly trying to make a video reacting to it. Maybe we should save for something like that. But TLDR, guys, there's been a lot of talk about maps, and I really wish they would focus on maps that would help balance the game more than be creative. Like, a little bit less TLO, a little bit more Snoot.
Wow. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Balancing and Snoot doesn't go together in my head, but I guess it works.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean in terms of balance. As like creative versus not super weird and ridiculous.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because Snoot actually did a couple of maps, so I thought maybe you were going along those lines.
All right, Medevac looking for a way to squeeze into the base, but their stalkers ready for it. He knew this was coming. The other kind of cool thing, we got the War Prism coming out too, so MaNa's gonna be able to dance around the map, not just defensively, but get across the map as well and do some warpins if he so chooses. But one big thing to talk about is MaNa and Reality. Behind this, haven't really set up for a lot. The difference being that Reality is setting up for what looks to be a 2-base attack. Whereas MaNa, he needs a third either way. Like, whether he's defending or attacking, a third base is a lot more necessary to Protoss. That income, very important to the way warpins work. But if he catches Reality leaving the base and then comes in, oh, he's going to get a lot of damage done with this Warp Prism.
Yeah, that is the ideal situation for Protoss players, and that's something that Reality should be very aware of as he pushes out.
Oh, that's a very bold observer.
Yes, it is.
But hopefully, he saw. I mean, like, he saw the army leaving. Hopefully.
Yeah. Reality has just been like scanning mindlessly, almost. Like, is an observer? No. Okay. Well, waste of a scan in that first game. So, I don't know. It just seems like he's not actually trying to look for observers so much as he's trying to just guess them. Well, it doesn't matter.
So he's on the mothership core. He's like, oh, pardon me. No,
Excuse me.
Cannon comes down to the National. I kind of like this. At least it's detection, if nothing else. War Prism is loaded up with 3 Adepts looking for some damage. +1 weapon upgrades and Resonating Glaives is not done, but the army is moving out. So this is going to bring Reality back home, which is really nice. Sometimes it's not about damage. It is just keeping the other army at home. Because MaNa's supply does pale in comparison.
Right. He's starting to get his probe count up to a better count. Only being up 3 is an ideal for MaNa here. Reality has his third base on the way. The Widowmine's going to do absolutely no damage with Rotating Overcharge. Absolutely. Hey, Wardy, thanks for resubbing 2 months in a row.
Wardy, oh my gosh, is that the SC2 Improved Team League caster that you guys should all check out sometime because he puts on a lot of StarCraft 2 content?
I think it is.
Actually, I think that sounded a little more sarcastic. I want to actually just say, like, Wardy is another great streamer, and you guys should absolutely check him out.
Yeah.
Sorry if that came off weird. Okay, Reality's army, again, looks fantastic. Problem is, though, once the Immortals start coming out, this army looks less fantastic. A lot of the time, Marauders are almost these automatic win versus everything. Everyone talks about the Marine. There's the joke. Marine walks into a bar, says, where's the counter? But truth be told, when it comes to Protoss, that's the Marauder. This thing is a badass and knocks units down like crazy. However, once you got Immortals out, the Immortals really do shut down specifically only the Marauders, and then you don't have a big problem taking fights.
Yeah, and their main problem that has existed throughout StarCraft 2 has been, the health pool is great, and their slow is great, and just in general, like, they're good at drops and killing armored units, but their DPS isn't very high. So you would always have to add in Immortals eventually to take them out, but also, like, they wouldn't take care of charge lots, for instance, back when charge lots were the main unit to add on. So that's like one of the reasons why I think Reality lost the first game was, well, I guess there's a bunch of reasons why I lost the first game, but one of them was that, like, those Adepts rushed in, and you think that's not a bad looking composition, and actually it was mostly Marauders, so they really weren't taking down the Adepts too quickly. Point is, the same thing could happen here. The Immortals are going to have to target fire, though. Oftentimes they just shoot Marines, and they don't feel too useful.
Aw. Something amazing just happened in chat, Zombie Grom.
What's that?
Ting Jesse tried to do a Sir Dank emote, but clearly his sub to Nathanius has run out. But he did resub to us during this cast, so guys, can we get some likes to Jesse?
Oh yeah, I guess that's pretty special.
The subscription system is really weird. We've talked about this a little bit. There's some people who obviously think like, oh, well, why would streamers want subscribers instead of donations? You get more money from the donations. And that's true for some. We personally like subscribers a lot, so super appreciated that we have a sponsor subscribing. That's cool. All right, MaNa's staying a little bit out of the danger zone with this observer, but he does get a pretty good eye on what's going on. He sees the targeting circles. He probably sees a couple of those widow mines. In fact, we can check to see. He doesn't actually see the widow mines. Excuse me. But this is such a disgustingly scary setup defensively. I really don't think MaNa could, ever would take a fight here on the front lines. It will just not end well.
No, definitely don't do that. But certainly catch them as they're going across the map. Now, the efforts are actually looking pretty good for MaNa. Looks like they're going to be actually pretty even at 2-1, 2-1. We'll see if he has it on a second forge at any point as he gets a fourth base up. He's got to know that an attack has to happen soon. Unfortunately, he does not spot the drop going off into kind of the middle left, despite having units and an observer around. So that could really hurt. He does have Templars, but none of them are in the main. Okay, he just warped in one and a bunch of charge lots. Scan in the fourth base is going to tell you that it's sending some units over here, but not a lot. Don't just sacrifice units because you want to distract.
This is actually really scary because MaNa's really not positioned for this. This third it's almost forfeit, I feel. There's some zealots coming in. They don't... I mean, charge is cool, but they don't really have the capability to stop this. Widowmine shut that down hardcore. MaNa's got those storms, though. Oh, nice. That's a wonderful storm. But while this goes on, Reality was hoping to drew him out of position for the other base. Not quite. The army's still here, and this storm's ready to go. This army's not too strong, and Reality gets deflected. He does get some kills, though, and he gets 10 workers on top of it, so not too bad. MaNa hopefully recognizing that those didn't die, by the way, because it's going to have to do them in a second.
He's going to get the probe and a zealot. Not too bad. So that could have been a lot worse. Reality didn't want to really commit to any fight with either one of those groups of units, because if he did, he was going to lose it. It was half of his army on each side. MaNa having just a key amount of units to defend against the drop, and then really just posturing in the correct place, the middle of his third and fourth, allowed him to deflect both really well. Unfortunately, it is getting to the late game, however. And Reality is starting to get, not only Liberators, but also Ghosts and better upgrades since he has a second Engineering Bay. And I do feel like Terran does do well at this position. Oh. Now, if MaNa could ever get up to Tempest, I think he'd take back a good position.
Oh, shit. This is good. This is like bait. Oh, this was awesome bait. He knew this was coming and decided to actually take the fight. 2 cannons, a couple pylon overcharges. This was an easy hold for the drops. Liberator does set up over here. Mothership Core can go save that if she decides to float on over.
He's looking for an attack. I don't know about this. That's quite a few units left back at home, but I guess there's also quite a few units on the offense for Reality. I'm just worried about the Ghost getting potentially good EMPs here, and the Liberator is sieging up too. MaNa, I don't know why he's really taking this engagement.
The EMPs land on everything. He backs away immediately. He was really preoccupied with trying to stop the Liberator. We saw him blink on over there, so his attention clearly in the bottom right for the time being. Bad time to look away from his main army.
Yeah. The 2 drops, they scan the natural, see that the Mothership Core is still waiting there, and the army, so they're just going to float on by to the right. Nothing too critical to kill here. Maybe it's a Medic's Core. The Twilight Council has had its use, but not going to be able to kill much of anything. Blink Stalkers try and get the... Oh, they get the most important medevac too. Nice.
Nicely done. Yo, I would love to see MaNa. He's going for Stargates right now. I don't think that's a bad choice. He's thinking about ways to deal with the Liberators.
The Ghosts!
This is a really expensive loss to Reality. Now he's going to set up the Liberators. If MaNa sticks around, he's going to have a bad time, but he's not. He's going to storm and try and walk away. No, don't take those Liberators on, man. Just take that win and walk away. You killed 7 Ghosts. I was going to say, though, the Stargates are not a bad answer. Tempest seemed to be the go-to. But truth be told, I would have loved to have seen a Dark Shrine come out of MaNa at this point in the game. Because Reality, while he's got turrets all over the place, he's been having a really hard time multitasking. He's been trying to be the one multitasking, and he's been failing at that front. If he has to defend against things like DTs at the same time, I don't think that goes too well.
That is a good point. I mean, that fight almost went all the Ghosts dead, and that would have been absolutely beautiful. But MaNa has to be very careful with his army. He cannot give it away, especially as he's transitioning into Stargate. A Dark Shrine, a Warp Prism, all of that would have been good. But he does only have a finite amount of minerals and gas. He's not really banking too much, as he still is trying to transition. So it's either going to be Tempests, maybe later focus on that harassment. I thought you were going to bring up Colossus, actually, because we have been seeing Colossus as an answer to Liberators.
No. Because I brought them up in the previous 3 games.
It never happened. Yeah. It's funny. We've been seeing some people actually go for super fast Colossus, anticipating super fast Liberators.
Yeah.
So they've really, a lot of people have bought into the idea that Colossus are the way to go, but MaNa, not in this game. Not yet, anyways.
Oh, this will be nice as he catches 3 Liberators on the front lines. Problem is for this, though, there's still more where that came from, but Ghosts are going down. Without those EMPs, and more importantly, without Snipes, there's no way to actually take on this army. Reality may have just given up a good defensive location. This is giving MaNa the ability to push. Storms land, but they don't hit much. He's got to take on these Liberators. As these Liberators fall, the Bio's going to get pressured by the Marauders.
Good. Oh my god, the Immortal count is going to essentially Shrek the Marauders as well. MaNa has a 5th base behind this, and he is actually just going to
push it in.
Is he?
Maybe. This might just snowball to win. The Archons finish for me on the front lines. They're going to soak the hits. The Immortals, their damage is going to get everything. Storm comes down. What little Bio there is left. He's going to be funneling in from the ramp now. This is where it gets really tough to hold on to this defense. MaNa, of course, once you start getting top of Terran production, you're going to have a great time. Funny thing is, those EMPs on the Immortals, not that great. They got Barrier. It's off of cooldown. Yeah. They're going to be able to soak 200 more damage. They got an extra life basically come out of them. We got a Mothership Core on the front line. You know what? Why not? You just A move F2 it, man.
Time warp. You know, what's really key about all those engagements is Reality is going to lose this 4th game, that he never seemed to actually EMP the High Templars. He only ever EMP'd the front army, which is still good, but never ideal. You actually want to get rid of the Storms entirely.
Oh, I got so many nerd chills right now. As the factories start going down at the productions camp, Reality is going to tap out, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, the forward hope, Team Liquid's MaNa!
Oh, shit.
What a beast! Not only does he knock down Reality, again, that confidence of like, hey, what time do I play tomorrow? Like, dude, you gotta win first. No, what time do I play tomorrow? Early? Question mark? Like, Jesus. MaNa. Well done. Well played. Super glad to see that go well for him. GG. But alright, guys, next up, we're gonna have Ryung versus Snoot. I'm gonna have to go hunt down Ryung, and Snoot is online and good to go. Jesse wasn't here when we played the video before. So we're not going to spam you with 7-minute videos today, but I do want to play the video from Ting again, because the coolest thing about this video is it just shows that extra level of involvement from the sponsors. And truth be told, Jesse, I know for a fact, wanted to play even more. But again, the camera died on him that day. It's the only reason they stopped soon. So we're going to go to a break. We're going to try and find Ryung. And again, it'll be Snoot versus Ryung when we come back. But enjoy this video from Jesse. If you see Ting Jesse in chat, he's the reason this entire tournament exists. He reached out to us like back in December and said, hey, let's do some cool work together. I was so excited to be able to say yes to that. And now you can see his face if you haven't seen it before. And again, keep an eye on the desk. You can see the Ting trophy kind of hidden in the foreground. We'll see you guys in a bit.